Hello and welcome back to Vegas Aces. Today we have a special live stream for you. We have a guest, Anthony Mule, here. Hey Anthony.
Hello.
How you
Great
doing?
to be here.
Thank you so much for appearing and being on the live stream. And
This is fun.
thank you. Now, you are a craps dealer. You've been a craps dealer for how many years now?
I was a crap dealer for 15 years.
15 years. What did you think? Did you like it?
I did. It was exciting. You know, I started when I was 26. 25 years old. So, young guy, 25 years old in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun. You're young, single, in the most exciting city in the world. And you started at El Cortez like a lot of dealers do, and you just worked your way up. I got on the strip, and 15 years of that, and it was a great experience. Loved it.
That's really
and I'm going to be
awesome.
getting back into it, hopefully, too.
That's really awesome. Now, if you guys have any questions for either Anthony or myself, please let us know. Again, Anthony was a dealer for 15 years. Dealt craps, was in the Las Vegas area. So please feel free to ask us some questions. Now, I got a question for you.
Okay.
So if you could go back and talk to your past self, what advice would you give yourself as you're just entering this industry?
Good question. If I could talk to myself as a 24-year-old again, first thing I would tell myself is enjoy it, invest in yourself, invest in your time. And what that means is if you're lucky enough to get into a nice casino where you're making good money, if you're on the strip or something like that and you're making $100, $150, $200 a day, which is nice, live below your means, I tell people. Okay? Don't, buy expensive stuff. Save your money for a rainy day. I wish I would have done that. I didn't do that, so now, hindsight's 20/20. Invest in yourself. I would have maybe taken some classes in my free time, and where, in case something did happen dealing, you didn't want to deal anymore, you could fall back on.
That's a good advice.
Okay, so that was something I would tell myself.
And
invest money in Amazon.
Oh,
back
God.
Back in '94 would have been really nice. I wouldn't be here, I tell you that right now.
You'd be on an island somewhere.
For sure.
Soaking up the sun.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool. So one of the things, investing in yourself, are you talking about like learning all of the games?
Yeah, the more games you know, if you only know everybody knows 21, or that's the first thing you learn. But if you know dice, and if you can learn all the carnival games, it just makes you more valuable to the casino. Mm-hmm. It's just like having a degree. You can either have an associate's degree or you can have a master's. And the more you know, the more opportunities you're going to have.
Yeah.
And especially if I think the hardest game out there is Payouts tiles.
No, craps has to be the hardest.
Well,
it has to be way harder.
If I know
tiles.
craps, it can't be that hard. Payouts tiles is a whole different language. I don't even get that. But if you know that, you can pretty much write your own ticket.
Yeah.
The big three, though, obviously craps, roulette, and 21. Those are the big three games. And then the carnival games, you can learn those.
Yeah, anyone
in a day.
can learn those.
Yeah, they're so easy.
And then another thing to do as far as investing yourself is socialize, network. Don't burn your bridges or anything. Because
in my dealer school, that was one of the first things they told me. Do not burn your bridges.
And I think it's because in the casino industry, a lot of it has to do with it's who you know.
Right. The guy you're dealing with your first year may be a jerk, but in 10 years from now, he could be the shift boss somewhere.
Yeah, or casino manager somewhere.
Yeah,
or
and you just don't know.
Or VP of,
Or if you dealt with someone and then they know someone.
Yes.
Who's a casino manager and they can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, who knows?
Yeah.
That's a big help.
Definitely.
Yep.
So very, very good advice. And we got a couple people here. Hey, James. Hey, Blackjack Player. How you guys doing? So if you guys have any questions for us, either about craps or working as a Las Vegas dealer or anything like that.
Right there.
Oh, sweet. First question. James asks, why did you stop dealing?
2 reasons. One, after 15 years, and I'll be completely honest, I suffered from a little burnout. Okay,
Yeah.
15 years of dealing. It just got to me.
It's the customers.
Yeah, and at Golden Nugget is a very nice casino to deal to, or deal at, but you deal with the same people a lot, and it does get tiring. The second reason was I had an opportunity to follow a dream that I always wanted to open up a restaurant, and I had an investor, and we went partners, and you've been there, you went there.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was an opportunity. Unfortunately, as restaurants do, they're the hardest business you can possibly do.
Especially in Las Vegas.
Right. Unfortunately, it didn't work. And then, so we did that for 2 years. I was working over 100 hours a week doing it.
I just have to say real quick, I had like myself and other people go to his restaurant, and oh my God, I heard nothing but just amazing like comments and stuff. Like, you really did such an amazing job with that place.
I tell you, you can make the best barbecue in the world, but if people aren't willing to pay for it, okay, it's a hard thing to do in the restaurant business.
And I think too, in Las Vegas, there's just so many restaurants here. It's like oversaturated with restaurants.
So after that, we did that for 2 years, gave it our best shot, and then after that, like I said, I didn't want to go back to dealing just yet. Went back home. I live in New York now, and I really miss Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I realize now how good I had it as a dealer.
Yeah.
I miss the friends I had, and when I come back here, I'm here for a week, and I just, I want to do this again. So cool. I'm going to probably come back in about 6 months for good.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Hey, Nathan. How you doing? Yes, you finally made it. Woo! Nathan's one of my good friends.
Okay.
So, yes. So I got another question for you. What was your favorite game to deal? And what was your least favorite game to deal?
Definitely dice. That's what I was trained on in school.
And that was your favorite?
Yeah, definitely dice was my favorite. I originally went to dealer school for blackjack. Like, I figured, well, I got to learn it. And the school, which unfortunately isn't business anymore, the guy looked at me and said, "No, you're going to learn craps." I'm like, okay, you're the boss. So I learned craps. The worst game, without a doubt, Let It Ride. I hate Let It Ride with an indescribable passion. You're just all day long. And you can't... It sounds mean, but you can't bust a player out because they're always getting money back. And it's just the longest, most boring game. I can't stand that game.
When we did our videos for Let It Ride, I had a couple jokes in there how it was like Let It Die.
Yes.
And I totally got that
God.
from you. That was like your thing. It's like I remember him saying that, and I incorporated it into the video.
It's like a punishment, and if they send you on Let It Ride, it's almost like a punishment. I'm like, no, I'll do anything but that.
Please, anything. Could you do roulette?
I'm good doing the math.
Uh-huh.
I can do the roulette. I can't move those checks the same. With these sausage fingers, I'll get rug burns. And I watch some of the guys. They're doing, they got the whole clover thing going in, and I don't know how they do it. I lose skin on my fingers. But when I usually muck, and I have all the payouts ready for them when they're done. But I can't move those checks to save my life. I know there's probably a trick, but not with these things.
Nah, I doubt that. Now, let's see if we have some questions. Hey, Alan, how you doing? Okay, so Nathan asked, do you or did you develop a sense that the dice were going to go bad or good?
You mean I'm assuming he means, is there going to be hot dice or cold dice?
Right.
I think it's all in your head. If you play the game long enough and if you deal it long enough, people say, like, one of the big things is when the new dealer comes out on the stick, the old timers, they will just, I'm off. Mm-hmm. I'm off. They don't want it. It does nothing to change what's going to roll.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. They think it's going to roll a 7 because that's the only times they remember. All the other times, it's still 6-1. Okay? The odds don't change no matter who's on the stick. Did the cocktail waitress bring a drink at the wrong time, or something? Did someone throw a late bet in? The odds never change. You just remember the bad times.
And I think a lot of it too is statistical fluctuation. You know, you're always going to have those runs, just like when you're flipping a coin or flipping a penny. You're always going to have a lot of heads or a lot of tails, and that's, you know, a lot of good luck or a lot of bad luck,
like
and you
James,
can't do anything.
James Sider.
Yeah, James, definitely.
Slow death.
Ooh, I got one more question before we go back to them.
Right.
What was the longest roll you ever saw in the 15 years you were dealing? Because I think I remember. I think I remember one at the Golden Nugget that was pretty dang long.
Jeez, I know I've been on a table where they've crossed an hour. Now, an hour sounds like a long time, but when you think you're probably getting a roll with a lot of people on the table and a lot of bets being made, you're probably getting a roll every 2 minutes, maybe a minute and a half. So a lot of people count the rolls instead of the hours. Or, I'm sorry, the time. And if you can get over 40 or 50 rolls, I mean, if you didn't make a lot of money, then you didn't know how to play the game. I mean, that is few and far between. I remember my favorite roll is the one I had. I had it at Aliante. And this is what people, they will swear by setting the dice.
Yeah, do you want real dice?
Well, these are big. These are good enough. People swear by setting the dice, setting it on the, you know, the hard six, the flying V they call it, or something like that. They'll swear by it. They say it's the best way to do it. My best roll, Aliante, I was just throwing them in the corner. I had no set. As soon as I picked them up, I threw them up, and I held the dice for over an hour, and I made $6,000 on that.
Wow, that's nice.
That was the best roll I ever had in my life.
That's cool.
And I've never set the dice since. So.
That's cool. So let's see what they're saying in the comments. Hey Dane, how you doing? Oh, Pip, yes, Pip did have a good birthday. Definitely, thank you. I was sort of out of town for Pip's birthday. Pip is my little white dog that I have, and I was sort of in San Diego, so I owe her a birthday.
Yeah.
I need to go get her a
little
dog
treat.
cake. Yeah. How are your babies?
I have my little cat. He's 7 years old now, Kramer from Seinfeld, I call him. A holy terror. Yeah. In fact, now that I'm moving back to Vegas, I'm noticing that there's cat rent now, $25 a month. I'm like, thanks. Thanks. It's an extra $25 you're going to cost me.
And the rent here in Las Vegas has been like skyrocketing.
Oh my God. I was not prepared for that.
No, I think it's because they're bringing the Raiders in. They were saying that once the Raiders are here in town, that the rent's just going to go up even further.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll get my place soon. I saw some nice places, so hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, definitely.
Yep. Good point to...
Yeah, good point. Hi, Andrew. How you doing? Good to see you. Glad you guys are here. Glad you guys are joining us. One more question. Yep. Now, I don't remember if you were here. Like, you see the craziest things when you are dealing table games. I remember at the Golden Nugget, we had people, like, crap on the tables. We had them piss on the tables. We had, like, naked people walking around. Like, this woman would just walk around, like, topless, literally topless. And we just sat there for, like, 10 minutes before finally someone did anything. And we're all just watching her, like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay,
but
that must have been on my day off.
That was on your day off.
Those things always happen on my day off. I would have remembered that. But we do see some crazy things.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
And I don't know what's going down on Fremont Street now, but the whole idea of Vegas being I would not bring my children on Fremont Street.
No.
There is some crazy ass shit going down there.
And naked people and
there's a guy with that green
Yeah,
I know. I'm like, you want to bring your kid? I don't know what's going on down there. I mean, I understand having celebrities and stuff, and that's fine. But there's,
when you have naked people down there, and all they have is just this one little thong that covers up this one little area, and they're like, "Hey, you want to take a picture?"
Yeah.
No, I don't want you to come anywhere near me.
And the guy's bringing in $200 a day, probably. Too. That's the funny
probably.
Part. So
yeah. But in Las Vegas, in the old days, you couldn't do that. You couldn't go on the Las Vegas Strip and sell your wares, or do that kind of thing, or.
There is I mean, they have to have licenses now.
No.
I thought they did.
They don't
I have a friend who's, if you've ever been down on Fremont Street, her name is Heather.
Okay.
She used to actually work at my restaurant.
Okay.
She is dressed as a nun, but she's got.
The sexy nun?
Yeah, the sexy nun. topless. She's got the pasties on.
Uh-huh.
That's Heather.
Okay.
Tell her if you see her, say Anthony said hi.
And remember to tip.
Yeah. And I'm like, I think she's got to have. Well, she's registered at some place that has all these people.
I thought you just showed up.
No, because that's what I think. A lot of it was just they were just showing up on the strip now.
Yeah, because that's what it was.
I think there's a license or something. You got to sign up.
Oh, now you actually have to do something about it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what I understand it to be.
Vodka Tonic says crap on the craps table. Is that true? Yes, craps on the craps table. This is a story I tell a lot. I don't know if you remember this.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember the craps one?
I would remember it was topless and crap.
Okay, so it was on the craps table too, but it was during the day. And,
okay, I was swing shift.
Okay, but the guy was a high roller. You might have heard about it, but he crapped himself. But he wouldn't leave the table, and you could smell it, and it was really nasty. So they comped him.
Okay, he crapped himself. He didn't crap on the table.
No, he crapped himself, but he shook it out of his leg, and then it sort of rolled out, and then someone came by and they sweeped it up in the little bucket and everything. Wow. But he was smelling, so they're like, well, we'll comp you a free jogging suit. So they comped him a free jogging suit. They cleaned him up so he wasn't smelling anymore. They held the game. No one could do anything until he came back. And then he finally came back, and then they started up the game again.
Was this when Tim and Tom owned it? Tim Poster?
Maybe.
Yeah, when they bought it? Because that doesn't sound like after.
Oh, no, not after.
When Fertitta owns it.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think
it must have been during. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I think.
What do you?
Or at least I would have heard this. I would have heard the story about.
Tell me some crazy stories that you've seen.
Well, I was saying before, when I started out in '96, I had the best time listening to old timers.
Yes.
They had the greatest story. And we're talking they dealt in the '60s and the '70s, back when the mob ran things. They said and just some of the best stories. My favorite crap story, and it's just, if you deal long enough, I wish this could happen to me. Downtown at the Binions, if you know it, there's a crap table right by the opening door. So there's Fremont Street is like 10 feet away. And it's a quarter game, and you got all these fleas on the table, and they're stroking, and they're not tipping, they're getting drunk, they're being obnoxious, and $2.25 outside on a quarter game, 75 cents each number. And the guy keeps betting it. Give me $2.25 outside, probably throwing at it. Dealer just had it. He grabbed it. He says, $2.25 outside, throws it onto Fremont Street. He says, go get it. I heard that story. I'm like, just once. Just once I want to do that to somebody. That was just one of the stories. There's so many of them out there. Yeah. I wish there could be, someone needs to write all these down and have a book on it.
Wasn't there that one story you were telling me about? Same thing from the 60s, 70s, and he got upset and he...
This was on I think it's Caesars or at the Old Sands, which, high roller place. Dealer was dealing craps, and another player, he's being belligerent. I don't know, he's probably drunk or something, and he's just getting in the dealer's face, and he just had it. Turns to the boxman, he says, I quit. Walks over, punches the guy right square in the face, knocks him out, comes back to the boxman and says, I hear you're looking for a crap dealer.
We actually need one right now.
You could not get away with that today. No, never get away with it. But back in the day, that's what happened. And another story is like, just once. Like on the last day after I hit the lottery, that would be me. And there's so many of those stories.
There are. One of my favorites was, and this was common, if one of the mobsters came in and they saw that there was no tips in the tote box, just grab a handful, literally grab a handful of chips. Here you go. Put it in the tote box. One
of the things I heard, again back in the day, they had a private game. High roller had the game to himself, crap table, and he lost, I don't know, 30,000. Whatever, something a big 5 figures he lost for the table, and didn't drop anything because he lost everything. And this is over after an hour and a half of playing, 2 hours. Casino boss comes over, says table's up 30 grand, says 800. He gave each of the dealers 200. You guys can go home.
Oh, wow.
I mean, for an hour and a half work, you give everybody 200. The table's up 35 grand. Why not? You know.
That's really
again
awesome.
Never happen again. Back in the day, it would be so nice to go back in time just to see what the difference was of dealing back then.
That would be. And I just have to say, I do apologize. I should have put my phone on silent before we started.
What that is?
That is what that is.
Okay.
So my apologies. That's my error. But I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
But yeah, I love hearing those stories and everything. It's just really, really fun. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's see. That's a good one. So Jeff asks, what have you done to help calculate and get bets paid out quickly?
It's just time and more bets. You know, just doing it over and over again. There are keys that help you. I've been out of it for
how many years now?
It's been 5 years since I've been dealing. I live in New York now. It's been 5 years, and I was playing on the table just the other day, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't drop checks anymore. My hands are. It'll come back. I know it will.
It's like riding a bike.
Yeah. But the more you do it, the more you practice. It's just like everything. The more you do it.
Do you have flashcards?
Yes, when I started out, I did have that. I had the flashcards, and those they do help a lot. Like $10 horn hi-yo, 12 hits, and you'll get it like that. 52 or something like that, or wherever. Was that right? $10. Was that right on you?
I would.
$10 horn hi-yo.
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah, 62 minus 10, 52. See, it's been a while.
My craps math probably isn't as good as it should be.
There are a lot of keys, and they do come in handy when someone just keeps parlaying their bets. This was at Excalibur. We had this married couple, great couple. They're good Georges, but they lived and died on the prop box. And they would just fire it in, and they would. And after a while, you knew what they were doing. So it wasn't even if something hit, you didn't even tell them. You just grabbed it and parlayed it onto a horn hi-yo or something like that. Mm-hmm. But you do learn a lot. If you are just starting out, the break-in houses are. I mean, that's what they are. They're there to help you. Yeah. El Cortez was a fantastic. El Cortez was a bird game, 25 cents, and if I knew a dealer broke in there, then I know they know how to deal. Mm-hmm. It's that simple.
So can you tell some of the viewers some other break-in houses, just in case they're ever looking to...
Well, again, it's been a while, but obviously El Cortez is one of them. California was one.
California, is that still there? I think they tore that one down.
See, again, news to me. It's been 5 years. You would know.
I know one of them is
next to the Golden
down.
Nugget, right?
I know one of
them.
I'm
sorry, Golden Gate.
Golden Gate, that's still
not
there.
the California.
Okay,
Golden
Gate's still there.
My good friend
that's
broke
still
in
there. Okay.
There's not many dollar ones left anymore. I don't even know if they have the bird games. Silver City's gone. I dealt there.
Someone was telling me the other day that the Gold Coast isn't a break-in house anymore.
I don't know. I mean, there's got to be some out there because we got to start somewhere.
Right, exactly.
El Cortez can't take them all.
So let's see what else you guys are saying. Let's see here.
Play the pass line and place bets.
Yeah, and that's the best. So Alan says I play the pass line and the place bets, and it's the best to play. Isn't technically the best thing to do is the don'ts? I mean, house edgewise.
House edgewise, you're talking.
But it's
1/10 of a
it's 0.04%.
Yeah, the edge.
Or 0.05%, I think, because it's like 1.36 with the don't pass, but 1.41.
Yeah,
with the
it's
pass.
so minuscule. I mean, you do want to have fun in the game. I mean, rooting when everyone's playing the pass line, you're the only one on the don't because you're playing a 0.04% edge.
But basically, just don't play the props.
Right, exactly. The prop bets, I'll throw it whenever I touch those. It's always a two-way. I got a couple of dollars, two-way hard 8 parlay or something like that. Mm-hmm. I play the 6 and 8 with place bets. I only bet the pass line personally when I shoot because I have to. But other than that, I don't play it. And then the number one rule when I ever taught the game, and we had a group of people and I would teach. I said always start with a 6 and 8, whether it's $6 each or $12 each. Wait till you get your money back, and then just press a unit at a time. That's rule number one. Get your money back and play with the house's money. I mean, that's the easiest way I could tell people.
So my question is, what is your thoughts about hedging your bet?
You mean like
Because everyone is like, oh, but if I do this, but then I play the 7 here, and then I'll hedge my bet here, so that way if that happens, I'm covered. But it's like, you still have the house edge. You're still playing those bets, and those bets still have an house edge.
Yeah, like if you're betting, a lot of people, they'll bet, like a pass or don't pass bet, and the point is, we'll just use this. If the point's 8 or something like that, you got one?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, and the point's 8, they'll make a place bet on the 8, or they'll place it on the line where the 7 is in their advantage. So now they're gonna win, like $1 or $2 or something like that. It's just, to me, if you're trying to beat the game, you're not going to.
Yeah.
There's no system out there that if there is a system, they wouldn't let you play it. Okay. To me, that kind of stuff just takes the fun out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's downtown stuff.
Okay.
There's a lot of people at El Cortez again. When I broke in, we had, these old timers have been playing for years. They had the big 6 and 8. These are dollar games now, so they would have $1 on the big 6 and the 8, and then $1 in the field, and then that's all they play. I'm like, where's the fun in that? Mm-hmm. They're at best they're breaking even or something, or winning $1 or so, but they would play for hours on and get their free drinks. So I think that's really what they were more important.
Maybe they're the same people that go to a roulette table and play red and black at the same time.
Red and black, and,
right?
Red, black, odd, even.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying in the chats. Dane asks, is it better to place odds on the numbers or play the field?
Field's a sucker bet.
Yeah, field is.
Field is a sucker bet. It looks like there's a lot in there, but there's more numbers not in there than there are.
If you are going to play the field, though, make sure that it says pay the triple on the 12 instead of the double, because the triple... Right.
That's disappearing, too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of that stuff is disappearing.
And placing the odds, that's the only bet in all of Vegas that gives you true odds. Nothing else. I mean, you're going to get 6-2, or 6-2, 6-5 on a 6 and 8, 3-2, and 2-1 on 4 and 10.
Yeah.
So it's the only bet. It's the best. Really, I always said it is the best. If you're making come bets, obviously.
Yeah. So let's see what else we have. Hey Ruben, how you doing? Hey Slot Shot, how you? Oh, did you just call? Hey Brent, how you doing? So Brent says, why do craps dealers hate strokers so much? I can understand people playing both the pass and don't pass, but my strategy is to lay a 410 on 20 and to win 100, and then I use the money for the inside. I think we have a little bit of a vocabulary mix-up.
Yeah, I don't really think that's stroking too much.
No, strokers
that's a strategy.
Different. Yeah, strokers are totally different. You want me to explain?
Yeah,
it,
go ahead. See if I agree with this. We might have different definitions.
A stroker is someone who is basically looking for a weak dealer to take advantage of, so that way they get an advantage. They're sort of like an advantage player, but they're looking for weak dealers. And then they go up to the dealer and they do certain things that are a little bit confusing that, say, a not experienced dealer would catch or understand, and then they use their inexperience to take advantage of them, so that way they could make more money. Do you agree?
I was going to say a stroker is just a stiff. No, that's
stroker.
That's actually a good. That's a good definition too.
Oh, good, you agree with me.
And they're just you're going to work very hard for a very long time on these guys. Very little chance they're going to throw you $1 or anything.
Oh yeah, they're not tipping you.
Yeah,
they're not here for you.
They're not there. Yeah, they're there to make money, and they're going to, just
make as much as they possibly can.
Eke out as much, $5, $10 bets as they possibly can.
Yeah.
But that's a good definition.
Thank you. I appreciate
that.
There's
and then there's fleas, and that's a whole other.
But the flea would be more like the people who just don't tip, right? Or are you just talking about
right? If they're just gonna, you see them walk up and they're not gonna tip you. They're just gonna,
cause problems.
They're gonna be there. They want their free drinks.
Yeah.
And you just deal with them because they're part of the scenery. They're part of the woodwork now.
Yeah.
A lot of more of them. I don't know. It's been 5 years, so I'm sure there's still plenty out there.
What was the worst what was the worst experience you've had with a player? For example, with myself, I had a player get really upset with me. He was drunk and he threw an ashtray at me.
Oh.
Golden nugget, mind you. It worked out because I moved and it hit the floor person, and the floor person was one of the like tall 6 foot, guys.
Yeah.
Well, so it ended up working out. But that was like, do you have any examples?
They 86 them out.
Oh hell yeah.
Okay. Good,
oh hell
good.
yeah, because it hit him.
Probably the worst. I won't say their names, but they were casino owners. This is when the former owners of the Golden Nugget, Tim Poster and Tom Breitling, those were great guys. Mm-hmm. Loved working for them. I never made more money in my life than I did when those guys owned the Nugget. But they were friends with owners of another casino, and they would come in, they get their private game, and it's just, they're rich guys and they're spoiled. They're living off mommy and daddy's money.
Aren't that most of them?
Yeah. And, they're just rude as hell. And what they do, they get their dealers, and if they don't like a dealer, get rid of him. And we had 5 tables, 6 tables in our dice pit.
They would cycle.
You're right. Okay, go take him out and him come back. And I'm on another table, and I'm watching them do this. And I'm like, please don't pick me. I don't want to deal with these guys. Please don't. And sure enough, I get tapped on the shoulder. I go on the stick.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, okay, we're coming. Or, we got a point of 8, and I'm ready to move him. Hold on. We're not ready. I'm like, okay, I'm moving back there. I'm not saying anything. Just keep him there. Okay, ready? I move the dice out. First roll. 7 out. Get rid of them. We don't want them. I'm like, I didn't want to be here in the first place. So, though,
And crafts players are so superstitious, too. So.
I tell you.
Okay, so let's see. Brent, thank you for clarifying. Ideal too, but my casino is only table games, card games, no craps or roulette. Yeah, some of those games, some of those casinos, they don't have craps, they don't have roulette. I know in California,
you're not allowed. I've seen crap tables with cards.
Yeah, and I was going to say in California they have a roulette table with cards.
And red.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is, I'm not to get into politics, but just pass it. I mean, are you that stupid? They've already found a way around it. Just pass it.
When it's like you already have gambling, so you can't use the gambling as an excuse because there's already gambling. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Again, anything about Las Vegas or anything about dealing or anything about craps, please feel free to ask.
Didn't know.
No, Washington.
Oh, Washington.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Well, you were in San Diego just recently. That was the casino we went to. Mm-hmm. Had the and it was weird. They pulled out, what was it, 2 blue cards and 2 red cards, and that was determine the dice. Or no. I'm sorry. They rolled the dice first, and that determined how many cards.
Wait, what? I thought they weren't allowed to use dice.
Do we have cards?
We have cards.
All right.
Here's a single deck.
This is how I remembered it.
Do you need a cut card?
No.
Okay.
Good. They had a red machine.
Okay.
And a blue machine.
We have red.
Well, okay, yeah. They would pull out the 6 blue and the 6 red.
So it'd be like that?
Right.
Okay.
And then you rolled a blue dice.
Oh, really?
And a red dice.
I think we have a blue dice, if you wanted to be actually accurate.
So they rolled it, and if that's the blue dice, they would go the 6 card, and the cards are only 1 through 6.
Oh, okay, so no 10s.
And then the 3 over here. So that would be, I'll just use it.
Yeah, use something cards. That's not like 10. This.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would, the roll is actually...
Would it always be the first one like this?
Well, the blue dice determines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, okay.
The red dice would be the 3rd card.
1, 2, 3,
1, 2,
4.
3.
Oh.
And this determines what the roll is.
Oh, okay.
So the first time I was playing it, we got a point of 6. I'm rolling the dice, and I roll a 7. I'm like, oh, damn, 7 out. It says, no, it's not a 7 out yet until we find out what the cards say.
Oh, weird.
So it took some getting used to, but after a while, I'm like,
it's an extra
we're
step.
still playing craps. Why don't you the legislature pass it? It's just so stupid. And I didn't get a chance to play the roulette, but yeah, the roulette has cards too. So I mean, they found a way around it. I don't know. I guess they're all different.
They're always going to find a way around it, really.
Yep.
So let's see if you guys have any questions. Brent says the tribal casinos lobby to prevent card rooms from getting slots or any other types of gaming besides cards. And then Slotshot says, I don't play craps, but if I did, what is the best way to tip? Is it per dealer? It's actually a collection. They're all pulled together.
Depends. You know, a lot of casinos. Some casinos are. I mean, a lot of casinos are. Everything goes together. Some casinos, I think Hooters, the dice keep their own.
Well, they all keep
the
their
Hooter
own.
Girls.
The Hooter Girls
are
keep
separate.
their own.
Yeah, but then, and then I know some places where the 21 is separate, and some not too many crap tables keep their own anymore. It's a lot of it are pooled. But the best way I do it, basically any bet you can make for the dealers. You know, two-way, hard ways. You know, I'll do place bets if I'm up and I got a good roll going, and I'll throw give $6 on the 6 for the dealers my control, and you know, so I'll press it up for them. When I hit the $6,000, the dealers at Aliante, they were ready to buy me Christmas presents. They must have drawn. I won $6,000, and I had over 500 on each number.
Wow.
At the end of that roll, and I had them going for over 100 on each roll.
Wow.
Each number, and I think they had to have dropped at least 1,500 off.
That's
of me.
awesome.
Yeah, and when I went back the next week, Anthony, how you doing? You know, so I was their favorite player for a long time. Yeah.
You made a few new friends.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was just telling you earlier, I haven't been back in Vegas in about 2 or 3 years. I'm staying at the Santa Fe station right now where I used to play a lot, and I went up to the table after 3 years, and they're, Anthony, where you been? I'm like, wow, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing that they knew me, that I played there for so long. I'm like, oh boy. So.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what we have here. So Alan says, if a person won $1 million and then tipped the dealer $100,000, would the casino report that player won $1 million or $900,000 to the IRS? Ooh, dang, that's a question.
That's a 6A report, isn't it?
Oh, that's something we probably have to ask Jay. So the next time I have Jay on here and we're interviewing Jay, the casino manager over at one of the station casinos, that would be a fantastic question to ask him, because
I'd like to have that problem.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So Jim says, Alan, I'm sure that they would report 1 million since your tip is optional and is considered a gift and didn't have to give it. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's the way I would have went with it.
Brent says, what is the most degrading, lowest of the low thing that you've seen a fellow dealer say or do in order to get a tip? Oh, hustling. What's the worst hustling you've seen?
You know, there is a subtle way to do it. Some guys do go over the top. And back in the day, again, that was a way, because the crap table kept their own back in the day. A lot of tables kept their own. And so it was kind of agreed upon between the dealers, the boxman, and the floorman, because they're going to get a cut. Okay, so if you got $200 a man, you're going to slip the boxman 20. You're going to give the guy, and they'll look another way, but there's a subtle way to do it. If they're just very over aggressive and they'll just come out and say, "Hey, how about a bet for me?" You're putting the entire crew and the boxman in jeopardy of losing their job. Yeah. It's not a good thing to do. And
dealers are not supposed to hustle.
And I've had a guy, do that. I'm like, listen, you just got a $5 tip. Okay, $5. Great. You just put all of our jobs at risk for $5. That's going to get pooled between 300 dealers.
Exactly. You're not even getting the full 500. Okay. You're getting 20 cents or 5 cents?
It's absolutely insane to do that.
Yeah.
If they're not going to tip, there's another player's coming in 5 minutes.
So I got a question for you. Yeah. What advice would you give new craps dealers for the best way to practice or learn at home?
Get checks.
Yes.
They're not that expensive. You can get them almost anywhere.
Spinetti's or the gambler store is a good place.
If you can get a good piece of felt, like
so?
this. I worked on my kitchen table, which wasn't the best, but if you can get that, and just work your fingers, get them. I'm going to have to, relearn everything myself.
If you do the kitchen table, just so you know, you can get a blanket, fold the blanket, put it underneath the felt, and that'll give you the cushion that you need when you're dealing. Because the kitchen table's really hard.
When I was in school, before we did anything, the rule was go cut checks. Mm-hmm. That's what we did. And we both hands, and you're just cutting checks.
Yep. Until
it was time to go on a game. And you get your fingers going. You get, dropping threes. Oh my God, I'm actually dropping three. I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
You want to be ambidextrous. You want to be able to use both hands. Especially cutting checks. You have to be able to cut checks.
Especially on the dice table, because you're going to be on the right or left hand.
Yeah.
Or left side, and you got to use them both.
Yeah, so if you're on the left side, you have to use your left hand when paying. If you're on the right side, use your right hand. Right side when paying. And then, let's see, we got 15 more minutes left. So if you guys have a question, now is the time to ask. Otherwise, we are going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. Another question that I have for you is there any part of craps where it's just you had a really difficult time learning that particular section, whether it was the propositions, whether it was the odds?
It's definitely the prop backs. It's
with the 35 to 1 and 7 to...
Because I think at the school you learned on 31 to 1 and 16 for 1.
Right, and then when you go to a different casino...
Right, if you're on the strip and it's 30 for 1 and 15 for 1...
It's different.
All those keys...
don't matter.
Right, they don't matter anymore. So it does, and it just takes time.
Yeah.
Like everything. You're not going to get it on day one. And here's one of the things I did with stick calls. I enjoyed going on the strip. This is back in '94 when it wasn't as crowded as it is now. But I would go to Caesar's Palace because I figured Caesar's was the place. Mm-hmm. And I would play a little bit, but I would listen to the stick man. Mm-hmm. I would, this guy's been doing it forever. He's in the Mecca right now. Caesar's to me was like, oh my God, I'll get into Little Caesars before I get into Caesar's, So I would listen to them. I'd try to copy them. I'd watch them, and they had such great hands because they had the metal coins for dollars.
Yeah.
Dealing with this, you get used to it. But if you got checks in one hand and you got dollar coins,
the silver dollars,
oh my God,
those were
and
difficult.
They were as smooth as they could be.
That's cool.
They were such good dealers back then.
So tell me, if there's people out there who are learning craps, what makes smooth hands? Like, what makes you have good hands versus bad hands?
Again, it's practice.
How smoothly you could do it, and how accurately you could do it.
Just keep doing it.
Cutting checks, dropping checks,
do it blindfolded. Sometimes just cutting 3 so you know what 3 feels like, you know what 4 feels like
without looking.
Right, there's some moves you can make, like if let's see, what's a good move I was thinking of. There was a
brain fart.
Yeah, I was trying to think what the bet was, but it was a pretty cool. It paid.
I have been brain farting so much lately. I will be talking, and then all of a sudden, I just can't remember what I'm saying, and I'm like, I do not even know what I was saying right now.
Yeah, there's so many little tiny things that you learn. Like, I think it was like dropping 1 into 8, and you're sizing into it for like 28. 28 was the payout or something like that. Yeah,
I remember all those presses you guys told me and stuff, and how you had to move a certain way and cut certain things.
Oh yeah, those are always fun. The one you don't get a chance to do that often is.
By the way, just so you guys know, Anthony is the one that taught me craps. When I was over at the Golden Nugget, this is the person who taught me how to deal.
This is one of the fun ones. You don't get to see this very often. Mm-hmm. 24 each on 6 and 8. And whenever I had a chance to do it, I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. You want to go to 30 on each of them. You drop 50. You're taking off $2 off of this one onto this one. Drop there. He gets the change. That goes to the box, and there's your 30. I mean, whenever I see that happen, I was like, oh, I get to do that. And I think you see it like 4 or 5 times a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's a fun one to do.
But when people go on the craps table, they do that a lot, pressing, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, Again, I've seen monster rolls and people still have $12 on 6 and 8.
And you're like...
And I'm like, you want to take this up one? You're losing money, believe it or not. And no, I'm going, okay, I can lead a horse to water. So it kills me too because I want to be on that side of the table.
Yeah, that's
and you want to try to help them because if you're helping them win, more chance that I'm going to get in the game.
Exactly. That's a good point. So we got some more questions. Brent says, can you grab a random stack of chips and just be feeling it and know that it's 20 high?
Yeah. After a while, whatever place you're working at, you're going to know what it feels like.
So, okay, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Okay, grab a stack of 20. You'll do it, I'll do it, and we'll see where we come up with. Because these
are fairly brand new, so it should be good.
Okay, so out of
feels
these,
like 20.
Do it 3 times. That's what we need. So out of 3 times, can you do it 3 times in a row?
All right, let's see.
So that's 120.
That feels like 20.
That's 20.
That might be a little high. I think that's 20.
Okay, so that's Anthony's, and we have.
I bet the reds are high.
Let's see. Yep. So that's a stack of 20 right there. So yeah, you only had one high.
When you have a lot of checks that have been used, and then they bring in the brand new ones.
Oh yeah, it's totally different, and you have to get used to it.
It feels like you got 21 or 22 in your hand, and it's actually 20.
Can I try?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's see if I get it. Because I'd have to do this for roulette. You'd have to do the stack of 20 for roulette. I think I just screwed up.
Oh, looks like that's good.
I was one off.
Oh, one off.
It was this one. Yeah.
I won't tell anyone.
I don't know. I find it fun doing that stuff.
Well, I broke in El Cortez in 96. And those checks were from World War II.
They were all used.
They felt, 20 of them felt like 16. They were so thin. And oh my God. And then you got to a casino where they had real checks. I'm like, so that's what 20 feels like.
I can use it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can actually cut it and look.
I think after 50 years, they finally replaced all the checks. They got their money worth.
Well, they redid the El Cortez.
I've heard that. I have not been in there, but I heard it's nice
now. Go in there. It looks totally different. It actually looks like
I probably wouldn't recognize it from the last time I've been in there.
Because you walk in and it's like, oh my God, this is like a normal casino.
Where's the urine smell?
Yeah.
I don't smell the urine anymore.
My feet aren't sticking to the floor. You would walk across the floor and it'd be a sticky floor and everything. Okay, so Slot Shot, how about the tip on how to throw the dice so they stay on the table? Mine always go everywhere. And try not to hit the bets.
If you hit, when I told people...
Do you want to use these or you want to use these?
I gave them a target right after the see and come. Because the wall's only about another 2 feet away.
Right, so aim right here.
Right, and then you don't want to have the dice more than table high.
Right.
If you're throwing them this way,
they're definitely
they're gonna bounce off the table almost every time.
Yeah.
But if you just keep them,
low to the ground.
18 inches.
And then aim
and that's
for
what
here.
I do. If you aim them there, they'll almost always hit the back wall. I try to actually hit the pass line and try to avoid checking those dice. He should be always vocal. Get your bets in. If you know someone's always throwing hard ways late, go right to him. Sir, you got your hard 8? You gotta. It's a team. It's the only gaming table or only gaming thing where there's a team working together.
So what do you think then about the floor supervisors and how basically you go and there's like no more boxmen? It's like there's nobody watching the game anymore. You have a floor supervisor that was watching like 2 craps games and a roulette game, and that's it. It's like you can't do that.
Well, that's the casino's decision. They're trying to make as much money as they can, and they eliminated a whole position. Yeah, there's no boxman anymore, and unfortunately, that's ridiculous. That's the Las Vegas we live in now.
It's horrible, though. It's like these are I'm sorry, we're going to go on a rant. These managers, I feel like they don't know what they're doing because they did that. They took the boxman out. They're making floormen watch 6 to 8
I think they know what they're doing, but the order comes from above their pay grade.
But it's just like they're doing it because of the money. They should have floormen to watch 4 games, not 6 to 8 games. They should have one boxman for every like craps table, and they don't. And it's frustrating. Yep. Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying, and then we're gonna wrap it up here real quick. Brent says, "Good job, guys. Thank you for answering my questions. I'll be in Las Vegas soon, and I hope to take you guys out to lunch sometime. That'd be fun." Maybe, yeah. Or like come back when he's here and then we
Yeah.
both can go. That would be cool. Yeah, we lost the stream for just a sec.
Oh.
The internet is a little bit weird. It's fun sometimes. So apologies on that. And then, is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we ended this live stream?
No, I think this was good.
Cool.
We had a lot of fun.
Well, I hope to have you back. This was awesome talking with you. And
7 months and counting, I think.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
going to be here soon. We're going to have you back and we'll do some craft stuff. It'll be fun.
All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And congratulations on your success, too.
Oh,
I'm really
thanks.
glad for you.
I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope to see you again. We will be back on Monday, so join us on Monday. And have a great weekend, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep.
I gotta go turn it off.